Coming up in this edition of Cogeco News, yes, a long, slow drive in the Seymour area. Graduation day, a final one at one school, and the VOODOOS still don't know 100% if they'll be starting on time. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to this Thursday edition of Cogeco News. I'm Greg Esterbrooks. 2 hours to travel 2 kilometers. That's what some motorists experienced on Thursday traveling Highway 11 North, approaching the major intersection of the bypass in Seymour. The dust has settled following the traffic nightmare as both lanes are now open for now. Here's Clark Heipel with the latest.
Yes, Greg, more traffic combined with less lanes equals big traffic jam. North Bay resident Jeff Rogerson posted this photo on his Facebook page yesterday showing the extent of the traffic backup on the northbound lanes of Highway 11 leading up to the intersection of Highway 1117 bypass and Seymour. We all know that there is this major reconstruction project going on behind me, multi-year project, and traffic flow and traffic volume in the city increasing due to the restrictions being slowly lifted in this COVID-19 pandemic. So increased traffic as a northbound lane was reduced, and that combined together for a traffic nightmare. People were commenting on social media saying, I was waiting in an hour in that traffic jam. Another person said, I waited 2 hours in that traffic jam. A major irritation for motorists on Wednesday. However, now behind me you can see traffic flowing quite well as that curb lane or that ditch lane on the northbound side has been paved over. So no lane reductions at this hour on this Thursday. More to come in the city of North Bay. Spokesperson Gord Young said the city is going to do its best to warn citizens ahead of time so folks can avoid this intersection. The city says that the temporary lane closures will occur outside the peak traveling times, which they list as 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. The lane reductions will be done during that time frame, as well as nighttime hours from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And the city goes on to say travelers should consider adding extra time to their schedule and also taking detours. They listed 4 options of detours. It's pretty much just avoid this intersection. That's what it boils down to. We will do our best to get that information out if and when the city does announce more lane closures in the coming days. Best just to avoid this intersection if at all possible during this road reconstruction project. Let's send it back to Greg in our studio.
Moving on to the COVID board from the North Bay Parry Sound District Health Unit. Here are the statistics for Thursday. No new cases, 29 resolved, and we had 1 fatality. Well, the end of the year and the end of an era. COVID-19 has sent graduations outdoors, and that was okay today because of the great weather. One was the last ever at WIDDIFIELD, and one was at West Ferris. Creativity is encouraged at all levels of school, and for West Ferris, the staff, administration had to be very creative in staging an outdoor graduation.
Well, the staff got together and it just wasn't okay to let the kids go out of here without some sort of acknowledgement. And the staff, I mean, we're so fortunate, Ferris, to have the teachers we do, and they wanted to do something special for the kids. The parents are happy. I mean, obviously they would prefer something traditional, but they're happy that the staff put this together and we were able to do this.
I think we would have wanted to celebrate with everyone, but you know, it's nice to at least being able to do this and come out here and actually get a cap and all and graduate. So it's kind of something cool and to do.
Well, that brings me to WIDDIFIELD Secondary School. I'm not crying, you're crying. Okay, I know I've been going on about this for a long time. WIDDIFIELD's last year, my old school, even though it's been almost 40 years since I went here, WIDDIFIELD still has a special place in my heart and the special place in the hearts of thousands of graduates. And this is the last graduating class, and they put on a spectacular finale today on the drive-through version of their grad. But even more so than other schools, this is the final one because, of course, WIDDIFIELD is closing. They shut down 3 months early like every other school because of COVID-19. And today, the final farewell. And for the Hilliard twins, obviously a double celebration as their school career ends at WIDDIFIELD.
This day is so special because I've been at this school for 4 years, and it's just so nice to be done, and I get to graduate with my twin brother, and it's amazing. I love what the teachers are doing here today for us, even though it is a tough situation right now, but I'm just really happy that we could do something like this and graduate together.
Obviously it's great to be graduating, especially because we've been in school for so long, it feels like. But yeah, it's great to be a part of this opportunity with the last school.
I'm just happy that we get to graduate here and we get to be surrounded by our teachers who helped us get us through the year, even with the whole pandemic going on. I didn't really think I was going to like high school, but it's just really great to be here surrounded by every student and teacher.
An emotional day as well for the outgoing staff and the principal.
It is, and that's why we wanted to make it so amazing. We've been working on this for about 6 weeks now, and depending on the protocols, we had to wait for the final protocol from the school board to be able to do this drive-through. So this is well planned out. We wanted to be the best in this scenario that we could be and honor our final graduates.
Remember, you're crying, I'm not crying. South of the border, big trouble in many states when it comes to the COVID-19 situation. Some states have shut down parts of their economy that they had reopened because of the volume of the positive tests of late. In Canada and Ontario, things are better, but the reopening remains very gradual. For Chamber President and CEO Peter Chirico, that's all right by him.
You know, stage 2, for the most part, right across Ontario, moving into that. And I know that they are going to be looking at data, health data, working with health units, working with Ontario Health, to see what the effects have happened on this reopening that we've been going through right now before they move to stage 3. Certainly everybody's anxious, everybody's ready, but if you take a look at some of the data from from below the border, where they've been having some huge spikes over the last couple of days, I still think that we're doing it the right way, that slowly moving forward on it is the proper way, and listen to the health professionals. That's the best thing that I can think of at this point in time.
But there are still a lot of businesses that are crying for help, and they need that help, and they've gotten some help, but they're still struggling. So what do they say to you? Because I know you're probably in contact with them.
We're in contact every day. We receive contact from our membership and you know, we do have a lot in the hospitality, restaurant trades. They are continuing to try and be as innovative as they possibly can and work within the rules to make it, but it's certainly a difficult time. They're trying to keep employees employed, they're trying to keep their payrolls covered, all of those types of things. So it is a difficult time, and we realize it, and that is why it is so very important that the public shops local, supports their local businesses, retail, restaurants, hospitality, all of those during this time, to give them the best chance that they can under the present guidelines.
You spent a lot of time on conference calls, and today you did speak with the MP, the MPP, and the mayor. What is the tone that you can elaborate on about those discussions, and what kind of advice is being bandied about? What kind of information is being shared?
Certainly, just to have the three of them together to provide sort of a State of the Union address, really, to tell them where we are today as a province, as a city, and as the federal government. I think it was very important, and to see the work together and really the cooperation between all three levels of government during this pandemic and the shutdown has been very, very encouraging to see, you know, party lines being crossed and working together to make sure that the individuals in our communities are served, and that means businesses as well as normal everyday citizens. So that is encouraging.
We are heading to a break here on the Old Newscast. When we come back, we're going to go a little bit green and go to the pet place down the road. Of course, we'll go to Humane Society with Pet of the Week and much more after this. Quebec, everybody, imagine a sky of green. That is virtually what the goal of the Clean, Green and Beautiful team is with their newest multi-year tree canopy initiative. Our Clark Heipel has that story.
The Clean, Green, Beautiful launch of the Tree Canopy Initiative had a lot of tiers to this announcement. 5 pillars, the first being the community orchard. The second, the documentation of remarkable trees in North Bay. We'll get to that in a moment. The third, Clean, Green, Beautiful, making inventory of the number of trees planted this year. The fourth being North Bay Hydro funding the planting of 37 large trees. And the fifth and final piece, the Neighborhood Challenge, as community members will be asked to plant a tree in their yard. Back to Liz Lott now. She is a nature photographer and she will be helping document remarkable trees in our area.
That could mean size or stories involved or impact that they have to individuals or families or the community.
What type of trees are native to this area, like the popular ones that you'll see when you're out and about on a walk?
Definitely white pine, although there are not a lot of them left in the city, but also maple and spruce.
And trees can live older than some people, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So their story could say, in less words, a lot through the history of where that they have grown and how they develop in the nature that they're in. Tell us about the story that a tree can have.
Well, there can be trees that are very old, so they have sort of multi-generational sort of connections for families, or they can be one generation sort of stories where a tree was planted at the birth of a child, or to mark a celebration or a ceremony.
Well, the press conference on Thursday morning on the Chippewa Eco Path between 1st and 2nd, just south of John Street, could be viewed as a type of celebration. Clean, Green, Beautiful mastermind HARIETT Madigan leading the charge for the tree canopy in North Bay. Less than a year ago, these saplings were planted in the community garden behind where she was speaking. Soon, they will be transplanted and planted in their future home.
And then we'll start all over again. In this fall, there's an initiative to plant another 500 in planter boxes right next to these ones. So we'll have that continual addition to our tree canopy in the city of North Bay. It's hugely, hugely important to the urban environment, and you only have to step into the shade of a tree last week to understand how important it really is.
I've heard from residents in West Ferris that they want more trees down there, tree canopies in West Ferris. Is that being considered for future plantings?
Absolutely. We just have to find the right location. We're hoping, for example, with the community orchard, that we plant 4 more community orchards in the community, because it really is about food for community, along with increasing the tree canopy and creating beauty. What's more beautiful than to see 20 fruit trees in bloom?
The North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority, one of the major players in this project, Paula Larange, was getting her hands a bit dirty before the press conference.
So we're just a partner with Clean, Green, Beautiful, so we sit on the committee and we also try to participate in the different events and activities as we can when they're being held.
And HARIETT's drive to make North Bay Clean, Green, Beautiful, what is her energy like when you're sitting in on those meetings?
She's just amazing. She's such an amazing go-getter. She really gets the community going, very active. She's great to work with. I mean, she's a real community hero, I guess you can say, in a sense.
All right, 4th day of what was the old work week. Now we don't know what that work week really is, but it is a tradition here on the old newscast to have something served up every Thursday, and that cues us up for another edition of Pet of the Week. This week, we feature a husky mix named Whiz.
This week at the North Bay Humane Society, he's probably going to pull my arm off here, but we wanted to get away from the cats and really feature some of the other animals that we have here. Whiz is very new to us, so we don't know much about him other than he's a big boy and needs a lot of exercise and training. So looking for a really spacious home, maybe outdoorsy, lots of energy in the family as well.
Christmas is 6 months away from today, so perhaps he could double as Santa's reindeer with all his energy.
We want to bite our tongue about how close Christmas is at this time, but definitely now is a really good time to add a member to the family, get him really situated into a routine, training and all of that before the cold weather comes.
What type of breed is this guy?
So right now we've got him registered as a Husky Shepherd, but we don't know exactly. So he came in as a transfer from another organization that just wasn't facilitated to handle dogs at the time. So we are hoping to get him neutered in the coming weeks and find a really active, energetic home for him.
So you couldn't blame Wiz for being energetic. You take Shepherd and mix it with a Husky and you've got a Red Bull and a dog.
We're surprised at any given moment if he has 4 paws on the ground, but he is very friendly. So since he's been with us, which has been about a week, he's been very active, social, eager to meet the other dogs and socialize with all of the staff members that we have here.
Now COVID procedure is still ongoing. It's kind of like a drive-through express for all your pet and adoption needs. Tell us how it's going right now.
The Humane Society is quite busy right now. We are asking people to call ahead, book an appointment, and talk to us about our procedures first. So we've got the dogs available for viewing. If anybody wanted to pop by, they are in the outdoor kennels right now, but really encouraging people to call, set aside some time so that we're not overlapping visitors, but really encouraging people. Now is a great time to add a new member to the family. So reach out to us, ask the questions, and we'd be happy to help.
She does great work at the Humane Society. There, I got it. When we come back, Clark Heupel will be feeling a little lucky as well. We'll have the weather forecast from Clark and streets that you may never have heard of. All of that right after this.
Weather is brought to you by Canadore College. Great things happen here.
Lucky 13, episode 13 of Streets You Didn't Know Existed. Welcome back to Cogeco News. I'm Clark Heupel here down in West Ferris. I'll tell you specifically where in just a few short moments. I'm here for your 5-day weather forecast brought to you by Canadore College. The cloudy, rainy skies have moved on for the time being, and we have sunny skies on this Thursday. More of that on Friday before the rain returns on Saturday. We will get a look at the 5-day forecast in just a moment, but it's back to streets you didn't know existed. Today, I am down in West Ferris, and the rare occasion where 3 streets interject. Yes, I'm at a T in the road, and I can tell you one of those roads comes off of Lakeshore Drive, which has a church nestled between Lakeshore and this street. That street being Junction. Now, Junction flows on down and intersects with South, but the correct answer for this trivia game on this Thursday is the street that Junction turns into once it crosses South. Do you have any idea what that street is named? It is Ritchie. Yes, Ritchie Street is the correct answer for today's trivia, episode 13. And at the end of Ritchie Street is a dead end with railroad tracks. So now you know. Let's take a look at that 5-day forecast as we're going to have sun, rain, and more sun all mixed into one. Venturing overnight on this Thursday night, we almost made it to Friday. Partly cloudy skies, a comfortable low of 14 degrees. On Friday, it's going to be hot and sunny once again. Sun and only sun in the sky, high 27, the humidex making it feel like 30, and then overnight, Friday night, low 17. A quick interjection on the humidex and feels like factor. Another weather station has a figure which says feels like, and then they have a number next to it. When I was down south, it said feels like 50, and people were telling me the humidex was 50, and that is not the case. So difference between temperature, humidex, and feels like. So right now it feels like 400 degrees, I don't know. On Saturday now, cloudy skies return with chance of showers, high 24, low 16. Sunday now, take it literally, sun and only sun in the sky, high 27, low 16 with clear skies. And Monday, looking at the new work week, we'll start it off with sun with a high 27 and a low of 16. Turning the page back to the almanac, we can tell you that the middle of the work week was wet and it was somewhat miserable. High 16 and a low 10 as it was muggy, rainy, cloudy, and just nasty. The normals for this time of June, 24 and 12 for the high and low. There you have it. There is your 5-day weather forecast. Do stay tuned. Greg Esterbrooks will have your sportscast, including a look at the Powassan Voodoos as they're kind of taking a wait-and-see approach as to when their season will commence. All that and more right after this.
Sports is brought to you by Tag Construction for all your construction needs.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, the old waiting game for sports teams at all levels continues, and who knows, even if they come back, if they can stay playing. But that's another story for another time. The Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League is still talking about a return date at a normal time in September. The Powassan Voodoos are one of the teams obviously in limbo, but there are still more questions than answers right now during this pandemic.
In early, I guess it would have been early June, and really we haven't heard a lot since then. I know that, you know, with the fact that COVID has not been, you know, as much of a concern as other portions of the province, that, you know, there could be a good chance we might be able to start before, you know, some other portions like the OJHL, but that's completely speculation at this time. Nobody's really started to do any camps, with the exception, actually, Michigan's different stance. Michigan has opened a lot things more than Ontario has. So the Sioux Eagles are actually announced a camp that they're having in late August, and, you know, of course, right now, do we know we're going to be able to have the Sioux Eagles in our league? So a lot of questions still to be answered. I can tell you that the phone is definitely not ringing like it normally does in regards to transactions, which usually are very prominent at this time of year. So I think a lot of teams are just waiting for more direction, and probably simply waiting for the green light from Hockey Canada to say your season's going to start, and it's going to start at this certain point. But right now, I think a lot of teams are still, building their roster with midget players. But transactions are definitely not what they normally are like in June or July, which is a really busy time of year for moving players around.
Italians 2020 first overall pick, first overall in the league as well, along with defenseman Tanias Mathurin, forward Dallin Wakely, and goaltender Dominic DeFacitis all received invitations to a virtual U17 camp. That's all they can play now, playing or participating in a variety of sessions with a focus on player development through online education only. Looking forward to real sports on real fields sometime. That's it for news, weather, and sports for this Thursday. We'll be back with more Cogeco News live at 5 on Friday.